Welcome everyone to the CFO Swinger Watch Report technical analysis video for the week of January 6th through 10th. Now, if you guys want to know the top-down approach to how we generate the following actionable swing trade ideas, make sure you guys read the entire report first before you watch this technical analysis video. The following research provided in this week's report is to be applied to the given trade ideas so that you can execute without worry as long as you follow and act on the entire 3-point game plan to a T, which is also given to you in great detail. So with that, let's get into the market. So last week, there was a significant shift in sentiment and price action and even momentum. And that shift was to the upside. So if you take a look on the weekly time frame for the S&P 500 ETF or ticker symbol SPY, we have a pretty solid hammer candlestick. And this hammer was created after the price pivoted right on this weekly 21 SMA, this light blue line here. And with this pivot came a retest of the previous pivot low point on this weekly candlestick, which is sitting at $580.91. So it seems like there is a short-term demand area, or at least a line in the sand for buyers at 580 to 581, a small 1-point range or $1 range. And so with this pivot up higher, now there is a lot of supply still overhead that we need to clear through and absorb in order to retest this psychological $600 whole number level. Now, for both my short-term to mid-term or even long-term perspectives, I personally do not think that we could be seeing another all-time high in quarter one of this new fiscal year of 2025. I think it's highly unlikely that we can continue to make higher highs and make new all-time high price prints consistently as we head into quarter one of this year. Now, I could be completely wrong with this statement right now, but this is what I'm betting on, and this is my intuition here, based on my analysis and based on everything that I've been reading on for the overall markets and the overall economy and everything that I've given you guys in this week's market summary section of the CFO Swinger Watch Report. So make sure you guys read that part of the report since it is the very first section. All right. Now, if we do see a retest of $600, which I really hope we could see a retest in the next couple of weeks or even this week, I really want to see a solid rejection at $600. Why? Well, first of all, we had that nice price structure break to the downside 2 weeks ago here, right? Or well, 3 weeks ago now, including last week. And so 3 weeks ago, we had this structure break. And then 2 weeks ago, we had that retest of that $600 psychological level. And we had a retest of this massive ascending support trend line. And so this tells me that with this retest and rejection back down, it's a confirmation, right? It's a confirmation that the price wants to continue in a nice downtrend. So even if we do see a retest of the psychological whole number level of $600 and an immediate rejection, there'll be yet another lower high pivot point compared to this lower high pivot point sitting at $602.48. So yes, I expect to see lower lows and lower highs. Now, specifically, when we're talking about lower lows, if we take a look at last week's lows, sitting at 580.50, that is a few cents lower compared to 3 weeks ago, since the low here on this weekly candlestick was at 580.91. So we did see an official confirmation that we have a lower low, and there could be a possibility that we could be seeing another lower high if we do see that retest on this psychological whole number level of $600. Now, before I move on, there's one single barrier to a potential retest of this $600 level, because we have the weekly 10 SMA still rising, mind you, and we haven't retested it yet, or at least touched it, and we haven't seen the reaction, the official reaction to this weekly 10 SMA. So for this week, I expect a continuation of this hammer reversal candlestick to the upside, so that we can see a retest of this rising weekly 10 SMA, and ultimately, ideally, I would love to see a retest of this psychological whole number level of $600 by the end of this week. Okay, now one last thing here. I do want to tell you guys that the price is currently ranging between 585, a previous major resistance level sitting at all-time highs, and the $600 level, right? So these are two very important previous all-time high resistance levels that the price is now currently ranging between, right? It's ranging between these two major levels. And I've talked about this multiple times all the way back in November, when the price was continuously ranging here as well. Okay, and ultimately it did break out on lower volume as we went closer towards these holiday weeks in late November and into mid to late December. All right, so with all that in mind, let's take a look at SMH. So before we move on to our official swing trade idea for this week, I want to take a look at the semiconductor ETF, specifically the VanEck Semiconductor ETF, or ticker symbol SMH. So currently, I am very biased to the long side for this one because, well, as you guys should know by now, we are in a swing trade on SMH. Okay, now I personally also do have SOXL equity on the side with SMH, but this SMH option contract position is very important to me because I have a pretty big position on this one, and I'm betting that it can continue to move to the upside. Why? Well, first of all, SMH has not done anything since July. And guess which stock has been doing the same thing? nvda, right? nvda has not moved for a long time since July. It's basically got to nowhere, right? There wasn't an upside or downside move or large reversal to the upside or to the downside since July. And SMH, if you guys remember, the largest holding for SMH is nvda, right? So the number one weighted stock in this ETF is nvda. So with nvda's grand breakout last Friday, I'm expecting SMH to also do the same by breaking to the upside and ultimately giving us a nice retest of this 257 weekly resistance level. And this 257 resistance level here is a pretty significant barrier for the next potential higher high pivot point. And the reason why I gave you guys this yellow arrow here is that, well, this is the previous and most recent pivot high point that SMH has made. And since then, it really hasn't made a new higher high yet. So if we were to see a breakout over 257, which I really hope we do see a breakout, since I am, again, biased by having a current long position using call option contracts, I would love to see a retest of this previous pivot high point sitting at $262.26 and ultimately giving us another higher high pivot point either at 265 or even ideally, even more ideally, I should say, 270 or higher. Okay, so that is the most ideal scenario for my position. Okay, so either a retest of 270 as the whole number level, or even higher than that by giving us a retest at this previous level of 274 as seen here. Okay, so with SMH, again, really solid consolidation. It's been moving sideways in a very, very tight manner for the past, let's see here, 7 weeks, right? For the past 7 weeks here, yes, since July, it has been doing nothing, but for the past 7 weeks specifically, we have seen the price getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And even with my weekly 10, the red line here, and weekly 21 SMAs, this light blue line here, it's been coiling and coiling and coiling. And ultimately, from last week's price action, thanks largely due to NVIDIA's big breakout, SMH has been able to close at highs of last week and over the weekly 10 and weekly 21 SMAs once more. And so hopefully this is the last time that the price tries to come back down to retest both of my weekly short-term momentum SMAs, and hopefully we can continue to move forward and trudge up higher until we're able to retest 257 and ultimately past this previous pivot high point sitting at $262.26. All right, so with that in mind, let's take a look at the official swing trade idea for this week. SMTC or Semtech Corp. Now, there's a reason why I took a look at SMH with you all right now, because SMTC is a very not well known, or maybe I could say unknown, semiconductor stock. All right, so if you guys have been looking at semiconductor stocks for the past 2 years, you may have not known about SMTC, and that would basically consider it as an unknown semiconductor stock. But I have had this on my radar since 2023. Why? Well, first of all, just from a technical perspective, it has been making a very, very large, very textbook rounding bottom, or you can just say it's a rounded bottom now since the price has broken to the upside, giving it a very nice new reversal and uptrend, an explosive uptrend at that, in the most recent weeks and months. So with SMTC, this very nice rounded bottom with a very nice neckline resistance level of $36. Again, I've highlighted it here with these yellow lines here, because it's a very, very important area to look back into when you're doing your analysis on this SMTC stock, because if we had not seen a nice breakout from this very nice macro rounded bottom over this very large macro resistance level of $36, then the price would have most likely continued to be dragged down by supply and sellers and will have continued to just be bogged down and just moving sideways and doing nothing. But obviously that hasn't happened since the last couple of weeks and last couple of months. Since July, we've seen a very nice breakout attempt and a hold of that breakout in early August, and then ultimately we continued to move on up higher with higher highs and higher lows. Now, we ultimately got that explosive move up higher, and largely due to the fact that we had a very nice earnings reaction and report, which I go over in the report itself. So make sure you guys read the report. So SMTC, what we want to concentrate and focus on for this week is this very nice high and tight Momo bull flag. Now on the weekly time frame here, and I know you guys are seeing that there's a recurring theme here in this technical analysis video. I am looking at everything from a weekly perspective, and I give you guys a very, very good and important, significant reason why we need to be doing that in the very first month of this year. So make sure you guys read the market summary section of the CFO Swinger Watch Report. Now, for this very nice looking bull flag, or this Momo momentum-filled bull flag, we want to be seeing the price continuously holding over its current weekly support level sitting at $61.20 or just simply $61 if we want to round down. And as long as we continue to move sideways, this weekly 10 SMA will ultimately catch up to the price, and it's not that far away since currently it's sitting right at this and coinciding with this $58 level here, which was a major support level in the past, mind you. And the price should continue to try to at least move sideways and basically continue to move underneath the parameter set up by this descending resistance trend line, which is again a part of this nice looking weekly momentum or Momo filled bull flag here. And so for us this week, all we need to do is look for an official breakout entry point, a confirmed breakout entry point over this bull flag. And that will give us a long entry point over $68.10. Now, I could have put $67.55 since that will be over the next whole number level. And also it will be over this descending resistance trend line. But I really want to see the price having an official confirmed breakout over this descending resistance trend line and a confirmed next leg up higher by seeing a lot of volume over this descending resistance trend line. And so that is the reason why I gave you guys this entry point over $68.10. Okay, you guys can see the full breakdown and full fundamental and technical analysis on SMTC along with the entire 3-point game plan with the option contracts as well in the report. So make sure you guys read the report. All right, so that is it for this technical analysis video. If this TA video was very, very insightful, but most importantly, applicable, make sure you guys leave a like down below. And if you aren't subscribed yet, I don't know why you wouldn't be, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below as well. Now, if you're watching this video when it just became public and you want to watch this video a day earlier when it's private, all you need to do is become a part of the many, many readers of the CFO Swinger Watch Report and become a member of the private CFO Discord community. You can get 50% off for your first 30 days, and it's a first come, first served basis. So all you need to do is DM me on Instagram at ChartsFocus1 to claim your spot. And you can find more details as to how you can become a member and a reader by using the link provided in the description box down below. Good luck, and I'll see you all tomorrow morning.